Just tell me what it was like also collaborating with Blake.
Oh, she's a creative force. She's a genius. She was involved in every aspect of this production, and everything she touched, she made better.
Oh, it was, I saw the red flags, but they didn't look red. They looked kind of fuchsia and cute. But I ignored.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan.
Hollywood lawsuits can get confusing. One minute, you're excited about a movie adaptation of a beloved novel. The next, you're neck-deep in rumors of misconduct, defamation claims that boggle the mind, and a heavyweight newspaper tossed into the legal ring, just for good measure. If all this sounds like a chaotic whirlwind of allegations, counter-allegations, and skyrocketing dollar signs, you're not alone. In this video, we'll break down the entire saga, starting with Justin Baldoni's lawsuit against the New York Times, moving on to Blake Lively's suit against Baldoni, and finally, wrapping up with Baldoni's counterattack on Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Think of it as your concise, chronological roadmap through a scandal that's shaping up to be more dramatic than the movie they originally set out to make. If you're ready to dive into Hollywood's latest legal circus, minus the law school jargon and plus a healthy dose of sarcastic commentary, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. Because let's face it, you're not going to want to miss a single beat of this epic courtroom showdown. It all began in a blaze of optimism. It Ends With Us, a best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover, was finally getting the Hollywood treatment under the direction of Justin Baldoni. According to messages between Baldoni and Hoover, included in court filings, because who doesn't love a juicy legal exhibit, Baldoni couldn't stop thinking about the book. The story gripped him so powerfully that he had to buy the rights. Early buzz suggested a heartfelt, faithful adaptation that would tug at heartstrings and maybe even snag a few awards. Enter Blake Lively, beloved actress and fashion icon, to headline the film. So far, so good. The only catch? In fact, Lively hadn't read the novel at all.
My favorite part of what I've read of this suit so far is that Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. This is a book that's probably written at a second grade reading level.
Yeah.
No big deal, right? Except Baldoni, who'd poured heart, soul, and a hefty licensing fee into securing these rights, wasn't exactly thrilled about unsolicited input from someone who hadn't even flipped through the pages. He envisioned staying close to the book's emotional core. And as both director and producer, he felt it was his prerogative to call the creative shots. Meanwhile, Lively was, at least officially, just the actress. And tension mounted whenever she tried to steer the project in a more comedic or fashion-forward direction. From there, conflict escalated. Media outlets picked up tidbits of on-set disagreements, production delays, and behind-the-scenes battles over script rewrites. Neither side admitted fault, but the public statements started sounding less like teamwork and more like veiled accusations. By the time alleged text messages, meeting transcripts, and conflicting statements leaked online, it became clear that something far bigger was brewing. Cue the avalanche of lawsuits. In an industry that thrives on glamour and secrecy, the mere mention of legal action can spark the kind of frenzy that sells headlines. But in this case, that frenzy tripled. First came Baldoni's suit against the New York Times, then Lively's claim against Baldoni, and finally, Baldoni's counterattack against both Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. If you're already dizzy, don't worry. We'll go through each lawsuit in detail. Just think of this as your guided tour through a Hollywood meltdown that, ironically, might end up more dramatic than the movie itself. Whoever said, "no news is good news," clearly never witnessed a Hollywood heavyweight taking on the New York Times. On one side, you have Justin Baldoni, a man who didn't just pour his heart, and let's be real, a lot of cash, into It Ends With Us, but now has to spend even more fighting what he calls a smear campaign. On the other side, The Times, a publication so revered for its investigative reporting that it often leaves careers in ruins while claiming it's just doing its job. So, what went down? It all started with a December 2023 article that, according to Baldoni, spun an innocent text exchange about breastfeeding and script edits into something out of a true Hollywood scandal. The Times painted Baldoni as a manipulative villain, repeatedly entering Blake Lively's makeup trailer while she was undressed. Baldoni, however, insists the article cherry-picked and twisted evidence to fit a self-serving narrative concocted by Lively herself. His response? a $250 million defamation lawsuit. Because in Hollywood, you either go big or go home. And if you thought Baldoni was the only one sweating, think again. The lawsuit accuses the Times of ignoring crucial context, like texts and emojis that could have debunked key claims. Apparently, even a well-placed upside-down smiley face could have saved him from this PR nightmare. Instead, Baldoni claims the Times relied on manipulated evidence that not only defamed him, but tanked his relationship with his talent agency, WME. Oh, and let's not forget that Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, allegedly played his own part in this drama by berating Baldoni at a meeting so heated, one producer called it the most unprofessional behavior he'd seen in 40 years.
Well-founded that it's Taylor Swift, her BFF, at the Reynolds penthouse in Manhattan, where Ryan Reynolds allegedly bullied Justin so badly that a Sony representative who was there, the production team behind the movie, and her biggest takeaway was, I am very sorry that I let him get away with doing that to Justin. It was so nasty.
I just, to sit there and have your husband bully your director.
Yes.
You know, like, if you don't like this, have the balls to do it yourself.
Right.
Like, don't have your husband
Why
throw
would
his
you have
weight
a
around.
meeting with your husband? That's so weird. Like your husband who's Ryan Reynolds. Of course it was a threat.
And in your penthouse, like on your home turf, like using your wealth as leverage.
Right.
Like showing off. Like,
And
look
your
at
friend Taylor.
And your friend Taylor, who's like, what is she doing there? Is she just like scrolling Instagram?
One of my dragons.
What is she, like, that is just wild.
Meanwhile, the Times isn't backing down. The publication stands by its reporting, saying it meticulously reviewed thousands of documents and quoted messages accurately and at length. Their stance? This isn't libel, it's journalism, protected by the sacred shield of press freedom. The big question remains, did the Times genuinely uncover Hollywood's darkest secrets? Or did it twist a breastfeeding text into tabloid gold for clicks? Either way, this showdown is now officially one for the books, and the stakes are high. Baldoni claims the article didn't just harm his reputation, it derailed his entire career. After the Times piece hit, he was dropped by his agency, and his once collaborative project turned into a breeding ground for lawsuits. With a blockbuster movie and a $250 million defamation claim on the line, Baldoni's fight against the Times is putting both his personal brand and It Ends With Us under an even brighter spotlight. Because, let's be real, nothing screams serious movie adaptation quite like a Hollywood feud with one of the world's most prestigious newspapers. If you thought clashing over creative decisions was tense, buckle up. Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni takes things to a whole new level. In these proceedings, Lively accuses Baldoni of sexual harassment, a serious allegation that instantly overshadowed the original chatter about comedic rewrites and costume choices. Suddenly, the question of who picked the wrong punchline became far less important than whether Baldoni crossed a line no workplace, Hollywood, or otherwise should allow. The formal complaint, sprawling across dozens of pages, because brevity clearly isn't Hollywood's style, outlines incidents Lively claims occurred both on set and behind closed doors. Her team alleges a pattern of inappropriate comments and behavior that made her feel uncomfortable and undermined. Baldoni's side insists the allegations are baseless, dismissing them as a calculated move to gain sympathy or leverage in their ongoing disputes.
One of the key allegations in her complaint against Justin Baldoni was as follows, okay, from paragraph 48 of her complaint. She writes, on another occasion, Mr. Baldoni and Ms. Lively were filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Ms. Lively out of character as himself. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." None of this was remotely in character or based on any dialogue in the script, and nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound. Mr. Baldoni was caressing Ms. Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles. When Ms. Lively later objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, "I'm not even attracted to you."
The audio was actually recorded during filming, though it was never meant to be used in the movie. However, the microphones were on, and they captured exactly what happened in that moment. No edits, no context removed, just raw evidence. In the end, see for yourself.
If you not getting dirt on you today.
I'm probably getting spray tan on you.
That smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Judge for yourself where the truth lies. What does this mean for It Ends With Us? Well, it's tough to focus on filming a tear-jerking adaptation when your lead actress and your director-producer are locked in a lawsuit that could reshape both of their careers. The controversy has prompted questions from fans and industry insiders alike. Did Lively's lack of familiarity with the source material play into bigger tensions on set, or is this a completely separate issue that just exploded at the worst possible time? Either way, it's the kind of headline no one wants overshadowing a film that was originally touted for its heartfelt message. But hold on, this legal battle is a double feature. While Lively is suing Baldoni, Baldoni has a counterclaim that ropes in not just Blake, but her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as well. Because apparently, in Hollywood, lawsuits are like popcorn. You rarely stop at just one bag. Get ready, because the next round of accusations might be even pricier and pettier than you'd imagine. Just when you thought this story couldn't get more Hollywood, Justin Baldoni upped the ante by filing a separate lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, because apparently, taking on a power couple is the logical next step once you're already knee-deep in legal drama. This time, Baldoni alleges defamation on a scale that'd make your eyes water. A whopping $400 million claim. Because if you're going to sue big names, why not aim for a figure that makes headlines all by itself? The gist? Baldoni contends that Lively and Reynolds engaged in a coordinated effort to tarnish his reputation, potentially through leaked messages and carefully placed media soundbites.
We've come across evidence that shows that even her own representatives knew that she was threatening and mean and tough and wanted to get her way. This is not something that we wanted out there. It's not something that Justin wanted out there. In fact, it hurts the movie. It doesn't help the movie.
Depending on whom you believe, it's either a calculated campaign to paint Baldoni as the villain, or yet another attempt by him to silence anyone challenging his version of events. Of course, Lively and Reynolds' camp calls the suit frivolous, maintaining they never intended to defame anyone. They merely spoke out, or perhaps joked around, about issues they believed were legitimate concerns. What does $400 million even mean in practical terms? Well, in Tinseltown logic, it's the price tag attached to a director's bruised reputation, potential lost project deals, and the general meltdown of a film that was supposed to be a tear-jerking hit, not a courtroom soap opera. Industry insiders are already whispering that the final number, should Baldoni prevail, could be substantially lower or settled out of court. But hey, it's Hollywood, where massive lawsuit figures are as common as red carpet selfies. So where does that leave It Ends With Us and everyone involved? With lawsuits flying in all directions, production delays, and reputations on the line, it's safe to say this adaptation is stuck in a legal limbo that's more dramatic than any scene in the script. Despite the whirlwind of legal drama, It Ends With Us did manage to hit theaters on August 9th, 2024. However, the excitement around its release was overshadowed by 3 ongoing lawsuits, each one generating more headlines than the film itself. Let's take a quick look at the latest on all 3 legal battles. Justin Baldoni versus The New York Times. Baldoni claims the Times defamed him with an article that painted him as an unprofessional, controlling figure. The newspaper stands by its reporting, maintaining it has credible sources. Whether a courtroom showdown or a private settlement is on the horizon, nobody's betting on a quick resolution. Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. Lively's allegations of sexual harassment remain front and center. Both parties are reportedly gathering evidence and conducting interviews. Until the courts weigh in, or a settlement emerges, this lawsuit keeps casting a shadow over the film's reception. Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Baldoni's massive $400 million defamation claim suggests he believes Lively and Reynolds deliberately damaged his reputation. While the couple denies any malicious intent, the sheer size of the lawsuit ensures it won't fade quietly. So, what does this triple legal battle mean for everyone involved, and for the film that was supposed to champion heartfelt storytelling? In our next segment, we'll explore the possible outcomes and whether these lawsuits might leave a permanent mark on the reputations of Baldoni, Lively, and Reynolds. Stay tuned. All these lawsuits have the potential to reshape careers and reputations. Justin Baldoni. His wholesome image is under scrutiny. Even if he wins in court, sexual misconduct allegations can shadow a career and scare off future opportunities. Blake Lively. Known for both fashion and acting chops, she risks being associated with legal drama. If her claims are validated, it could bolster her stance in a male-dominated industry. If not, she may face significant backlash. Ryan Reynolds. Famous for his humor and box office pull, Reynolds now grapples with a massive defamation suit. Big studios often avoid stars embroiled in legal turmoil, even if the public loves them. The movie It Ends With Us already premiered on August 9th, 2024, but ongoing disputes might overshadow its artistic merit. While controversy can attract some viewers, studios generally prefer a smooth release without legal baggage. Will we see a dramatic public trial, or will everyone quietly settle behind closed doors? Let's wrap this up next. From a hopeful adaptation of a beloved novel to a legal marathon, It Ends With Us has become Hollywood's latest cautionary tale. High-stakes lawsuits often end in hush-hush settlements. No shocking courtroom confessionals required. Whether the film's legacy will be defined by its storytelling or by these sprawling disputes is anyone's guess. But in a business fueled by reinvention, don't rule out a comeback just yet. If you've stuck with us this far, you're officially up to speed on one of Tinseltown's most convoluted sagas. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay tuned for the next twist. Because if Hollywood excels at anything, it's serving up drama on and off the screen. Alright, show's over. Hungry for more twists? You know where to find us. Keep that popcorn hot, we'll handle the drama. Want to catch the next showdown in real time? Hit subscribe and buckle up.